120 days on carnivore, and I'm going to be brutally honest, this isn't going to be a hype video. I didn't drop 30 pounds and I'm not glowing with magical energy, but I am seeing some changes. Some of them are really encouraging and some of them have just been straight up frustrating. This wasn't even supposed to be a long-term thing. I didn't think that I'd make it past 30 days, let alone 90, and all the way to today, I'm at 120 days on carnivore. I'm still eating meat, I'm still tracking my symptoms, and I'm still trying to figure out if this is healing or just really slow progress. So in this video, I'm just gonna break it all down. The wins, the weird stuff, hormones, everything. Hey, I'm Sandy and welcome to my channel. My highest weight was 300 pounds back in 2015. I lost about 50 pounds eating low carb and keto back then. For the past 10 years, I've yo-yoed between 240 and 280 pounds. I've tried to stay on track, but life has happened and thrown a lot of bumps in the road. But I do keep coming back to what works. And for right now, that's carnivore. So if you want to know what actually happened after 120 days, what changed, what didn't, and if I'm even still doing this, hit the like button and subscribe, and let's get into the video. One thing that I've just recently noticed as far as win-wise is my eyebrows. For years now, probably my eyebrows, and I have makeup on right now, so you're not really going to be able to tell, but my eyebrows from like the arch over were just basically bald and had a few little hairs that would grow in from time to time. And it would just bother me, so I would pluck them out because there wasn't really enough to work with. And now I've noticed like a little sparse, like bunch of hairs that have been growing back, it seems like within the past week or so, which is new and different and cool. And I'm like, oh, great. Maybe I won't have to draw my eyebrows on every day so I don't look crazy. Cause like if I don't have makeup on, then my eyebrows stop at about like here. And I have read before that that is definitely I think a hormonal thing, specifically a thyroid indicator that like that's a problem. So anyway, yeah, eyebrows growing back. My nails. So I noticed this about 90 days in. My nails are so much stronger and thicker than they have ever been in my entire life. Like, ignore the chipped paint, but my nails are longer. Usually at this point, they would get brittle and break off, and I would just cut them down. I don't typically do fake nails or anything like that, but just my natural nails are thicker, and I actually was able to shape them, which they weren't even strong enough to really be shaped with an emery board or anything previously. If you have brittle nails too, you know how like you go to open a cabinet and then your nail catches and it breaks off and you're like, ah, I've done that and my nail has not broken off. And I'm very clumsy like with my hands, and I'm prone to like, you know how you like stub your toe? I'm kind of prone to like jamming my fingers into things too. And I don't wash dishes with gloves on or anything like that. Like I don't take great care of my nails, and they have been troopers and super strong and holding up. Period pain. So one weird thing with carnivore was the frequency of my periods got shorter. It seems like now it's kind of spread out a little bit more. This last cycle, instead of it being the first time I had a shortened period, it was like 14 days, and then it was 17. And now this last cycle, it was 18. But this period has had one heavy day. The rest of it has been pretty light. The cramps and things like that were pretty much non-existent. The back pain, I do still have a little bit of lower back pain, but I don't know if that's really my period at this point, or if that's just I go to the chiropractor and I have, you know, like I'm out of alignment. And so I have to do rehab and things like that for my lower back pain. It's specifically like on my right side. But yeah, the period overall has been way less just horrible. And I didn't feel like it affected my quality of life so much this past week being on my period. Usually, I feel like when I have a period, that week of the month is like a throwaway. And I was able to lift, I was able to be active, I was able to work out. I didn't have the kind of fatigue and mental drain nearly as much as I do that week that I'm on my period. So all of that definitely much better. Chin hair. Okay, so I have had chin hair growing in like thick thick, hard chin hair. Some of them are dark, some of them are clear, growing in for probably the past 4 or 5 years, longer than that even, but in the last 4 or 5 years, it's gotten really bad. And I just have to pluck them out on an almost daily basis. And I have noticed that it seems like my chin hairs are not growing in as, like, I'm not having to pluck as many of those. I still have them. Okay. But I don't have to pluck as many. And they're not it's not so hard to pluck the hairs out. I didn't get a new set of tweezers or anything, if you're wondering, like, oh, well, you probably just got better tools. No, same old pair of Revlon tweezers I've been using. I should get a new pair, but yeah, so they're easier to pull out and there's less chin hairs that are actually growing, which is wonderful. So that, the hair thing, the nails, the chin hairs, the period not being as horrible, all indicates there are some good things going on with my hormones. There's definitely like real healing going on there. My skin, acne, boils, all that sort of stuff. There has been a major improvement in this area right here because I have had a constant acne breakout going on all around here, under my chin. Just, I have a lot of makeup and concealer on to cover all that up and powder, but I have had just terrible, terrible breakouts. You've seen them in my past videos when I don't have makeup on, and they're just like very much concentrated here. All of that is so much better now. My skin is not perfectly clear though. I still have a boil from the previous period that it's like a scar, and that hasn't totally gone away, but I didn't get a new one on this period. So skin wise, that's a definite major improvement. I was getting a boil like usually the week before my period for almost every single period this whole year prior. And then my skin itself, like the acne does look a lot better. For this period, I did have a pimple, like there it is, a pimple come through on my forehead, and but it's the only pimple that has come through on this period. Usually I'd have a couple different ones and they would usually come down here. So I'm taking all that as positive. If I just have like one pimple that came through with my period, that's so much better than having constant acne like all the time. There was something else I wanted to bring up too that I forgot. Hold on, let me think about it. I think it was about this time last year, I started to notice that right here, specifically this skin on my neck and like right under my chin, it got discolored. It was red. It was like bumpy. It was dry. And I had acne breakouts in that exact area too. And it just looked like this weird rash. I don't know if it was melasma. I don't know what exactly it was, but it was the first time that I'd ever had that specific type of skin issue happen, specifically right there. And the skin itself got really thin and crepey, and like it turned into a turkey neck. And so the turkey neck, I don't know. I don't, I'm noticing it so much less now. And I don't know if that's like because carnivore is helping improve the skin elasticity or if I'm crazy or what. But the turkey neck to me now doesn't look as bad as it used to. I don't know. So I'll take it, like anything that makes it look better. But I'm 37 and I am aging, and it's like the skin is sagging, and I know that I lost a little bit of fat from here, and so then the skin started to hang down, and yeah. So you probably have seen it in other past videos before and noticed it too. So let me know if you have noticed an improvement in the turkey neck. I think I'm seeing an improvement, but I'm not totally sure. So I've had knee surgeries and I've had to go to rehab before for pain in my hip joints, SI joints, all that type of stuff. And I do have significantly less joint pain, and my knees are not killing me when I wake up most mornings. Before carnivore, my knees were absolutely like the biggest limiting factor to me being able to work out and do cardio. And so I'd have to wake up in the morning and assess where my knee pain was and then decide what the workout was going to be from there. And now I like it's been really freeing. Now that I'm just thinking about it, this last month or so since I've been getting into working out again. Because I took a couple months off the first like 60 days of carnivore as I was getting used to eating this way. Just that was hard enough. But now I'm back to working out on a regular basis. And I've only had a few days where I woke up and my knee felt stiff and it was bothering me. And so going from that being rare instead of being the norm is amazing. And I think that that's because it's just a carnivore is a very anti-inflammatory diet. So whatever I was eating that was inflaming me has just gone way, way down, which is awesome. I was losing hair like quite a bit. I'm losing so like I have lost so much hair from this area right here. Like it is so thin. You can't tell right now with this lighting and the video. And I've sprayed like some root cover up here to like cover up my grays and to cover up my scalp. But I have lost like a significant amount of hair here, and my bang area just in general seems to be thinning out, but I'm not losing as much hair on this side. Can somebody explain why I would be losing more hair on this side versus that side? I don't know. But I did notice the hair loss, and my hair was also shedding. Like when I would comb my hair, brush my hair, or just wash my hair in the shower, I was losing gobs and gobs and gobs and gobs and gobs of hair. And it was really frightening. Like it freaked me out quite a bit. And so I figured that it was a mix of carnivore and some extreme stress. I've had a job change. And at one point, I was really uncertain what was going to happen with my career. And so I was extremely at a point of extreme stress. I think that the combination of stress over job life change and then also being on carnivore mixed together and led to the perfect storm of hair loss. That's my guess at this point so far. Over this past 30 days, I have noticed that the hair shedding has slowed down quite a bit. It seems like it's back to normal amount of hair shedding instead of gobs and gobs of hair falling out, which is great. And then as far as the thinning, it's not like it's turned around or anything, but it does seem like I have some baby hairs that are growing back in this kind of general area. Stay tuned. I'll keep you updated on what's going on with my hair. Hair loss for women is so like it's it messes you up. Like it really does. In the previous video, I was like, I'm not really worried about it. And at that point when I spoke about it, I wasn't, but then I kept catching glimpses of my hairline and seeing my scalp and stuff. And I was feeling very self-conscious. I was feeling really self-conscious about how much scalp that I was seeing. I started working at a new job and I wanted to look my best. And, you know, it, yeah, it just, I want to look nice for my husband. And so it was bothering me for sure, but not bothering me as much as some of the other stuff that I was going through, if that makes sense. Here's the thing with carnivore and weight loss for me specifically. I want to give you some context and I want to explain why this is the way that it is. Over the past 4 months, I have lost 4 pounds on carnivore. I do want to say first that the first 90 days, I was not very like the first 90 days, weight loss was not my number one concern. And so I did not track calories or try to eat in a calorie deficit. I hoped that when I started carnivore that I wouldn't have to do any of that and I would just eat until I was comfortable, and that because my insulin was so low that my body would just naturally know when to stop and I would just be in a natural deficit anyway by intuitive eating, and that I would just lose weight that way. And that's what I tried, but it didn't end up working for me. The first 3 months was really about trying to get my food noise and my insatiable appetite under control. And carnivore has absolutely helped with both of those. Food noise is pretty much gone, which has been so freeing. The appetite issue has not been totally resolved, but I also think that it's like controlled better now. All that to basically say that I've really only been eating in a deficit for about a month now. I started tracking my food about a month ago and lost I think 2 pounds within the last month overall. Yeah. So 2-pound loss in a month, and this is the first month that I've started tracking. I mean, that's not bad. Yes, I've been on carnivore for a total of 4 months, but I have had a lot of I've had a lot of stress that my body has been under. And I do believe that my hormones were at a really bad place when I started carnivore, which is part of why I started it in the first place. I mean, I wanted to lose weight, definitely, but this turned into so much more as far as seeing changes in so many other areas of my life and my body that I didn't even realize. Has it been perfect? Absolutely not. I wish that I had lost more weight. Like, I wish that 4 months have gone by and I've lost like 30 or 40 pounds. That's honestly like what I was hoping would happen if I had stayed on carnivore for this long. And that is not at all what happened. So I've lost total over the whole year about 15 or 16 pounds. I can't remember if I was 247 or 248 when I started the year. My absolute highest weight of the year was 248, and that was while I was carnivore priming. And so when I was carnivore priming, I weighed in one day and my weight was 248 pounds. So I have lost 16 pounds since I was carnivore priming. So that's really nothing to kind of sneeze at either, right? I mean, that's really not bad. But everything isn't like sunshine and daisies, right? I thought that when I started carnivore that, I'd lose weight really fast. I would have endless energy. I'd feel like Bradley Cooper and Limitless and just be a human specimen, just like thinking so fast, thinking so clear, amazing memory and recall, because those are the things that happened previously for me, but it hasn't really been like that this time. And so I have I have dealt with both my fatigue and my mood on carnivore, and I just want to be really honest with you about what's going on there in case somebody else is experiencing this. And I've read about this in some carnivore groups on Facebook, so I know I'm not alone. I just don't know how common it is. So if you're going through this too, I just want to be as open with you as possible about that, because not everybody, but you read so many posts and you see online like your energy is amazing and carnivore healed my anxiety and depression and so on and so forth, which is amazing. But for me, that's not exactly what happened. I'll start with fatigue first. So the first couple of weeks into carnivore is when I really saw a huge dip in my energy levels. And I chalked that up to adaptation, but it never really got any better, even though I was taking in some electrolytes. By the 2 month mark, I realized you are not getting in enough electrolytes. I made a video about it, a previous video about now what I do to make sure that I get in enough electrolytes without having to spend a bunch of money on like element tea packets or something. I just make a homemade mix myself. But once I started taking more electrolytes, my fatigue improved so much over that month uh of month 2 to month 3, day 60 to day 90, that by day 90 I was like, wow, I can actually work out now again. I feel like I have energy to work out. But I still, like, here I am, day 120. I still am feeling fatigue, but I am working out and being physical every day, not like super intense type stuff. Like, I just walked for an hour this morning outside, but I have energy to do that, which previously, before I got my electrolytes locked in, I had no energy to do that. And I also had like no energy to film. I barely had any energy to just do my job. And so that's great, but I don't feel, how do I put this? Like, I still feel a general malaise, like a general fatigue just all the time. And when I ate a little bit more carbs, I had more energy. And so I do not have boundless energy. I'm not bouncing off the walls or anything like that. So while I figured out the fatigue problem on carnivore, I'm still feeling fatigued currently. It's just not as bad as it used to be. It's kind of like a low level fatigue all the time, like a low level. I don't really want to do, I have to motivate to do just about everything. I have to motivate to do my morning routine instead of just like bouncing out of bed in the morning, feeling refreshed and like ready to go. I hope that that makes sense. I've had a low level of depression since starting carnivore, since about 2 weeks in, which is probably when my body used up every single last carbohydrate that it had. And I have just felt that way the entire time that I've been on carnivore, which is concerning. But at the same time, about a month into carnivore is when I had some life events happen. Huge major life events happen, got some news that was very stressful for me. And so that could absolutely be why this low level depression has lingered. In the back of my head, though, I think that if I had a little bit more carbs a day, maybe like, I don't know, keto type numbers, maybe like 20 carbs a day, I probably wouldn't feel as depressed. That's just a hunch that I have, but it is there. It is a real thing. And I know that, well, hopefully, as I'm sitting here talking to you, I don't seem like I'm depressed. But it's just like, it's not that I'm not being me, but it's also like, if I'm talking to a friend, which is what I consider you guys to be about how I'm dealing with things, I'm not just going to be like, oh, yeah, life sucks. And I'm just kind of generally sad about everything and have a generally sad outlook. Like, that's no, but I feel like that if I'm being super honest with myself deep down? Yeah, I am. Um, but I'm okay. Like, I'm okay. It's all right. But it is something that I'm keeping an eye on. And I did just want to be honest and share that with you. And if you're going through something like this too, and you've been on carnivore for a while, I want to make sure that you know that someone else is going through it and you're not alone. One of the biggest like benefits so far has definitely been the food noise. And I don't have really food noise anymore. I don't really have and when I don't have food noise anymore. And the way that I think of food noise is basically that food controls me instead of me just living a regular life and not obsessing about food all the time. What I was eating previously was low carb keto snacks, and I had so much food noise from the processed keto snacks that I was eating and the little bites of normal foods that my husband was eating here and there, that I absolutely felt ruled by food. And I felt ruled by food my entire life. And so this has been the first time in my life that I can just function normally and not feel like food is running my life. It is not perfect. Like, this is not 100% perfect, but what it does feel like is that I have a layer and a level of control that I have not experienced before. And I've never taken a GLP-1 before, like Ozempic or anything like that, but I imagine that this is probably what it feels like taking a GLP-1. Is just like, food is not something that's so important to me that I have to think about and plan for all the time. Like, I would feel like I was being judged for the foods that I was eating, not because of anything that my husband said or my family or friends or anything like that, but because I would eat foods that I didn't want to eat, but my addiction was telling me that I needed to eat it and like not forcing me to eat it. But I didn't feel like I was in control. And anytime I felt like I wasn't in control of what I was putting in my mouth, I felt really disappointed in myself, and I felt like I was failing myself, and I felt like an out of control person who wasn't worth very much at all. You know, it me feeling like I was a slave to food took away so much of my self-worth and my self-confidence. And so it's been amazing finally feeling like I'm free of that as I sit here and share with you right now. Okay, so where am I at now? I've been on carnivore for 4 months, 120 days. What am I going to do moving forward? Yeah, so when I first started this, I thought that it would be like a miracle if I made it to 90 days on carnivore. And especially because the first 2 months were so hard. The first 2 weeks were so hard. The adaptation period was so rough. Priming was really rough. Being so fatigued before I figured out my electrolytes was really hard. And I kept moving forward and I kept doing it because I wanted to prove something to myself. I wanted to prove that I was worth trusting and believing in myself, that I could actually do something, because I viewed this as one of the hardest things in my life that I've ever done, honestly. And it's the hardest thing in my life I've ever done because food addiction has ruled me my entire life. So, you agree with me? Okay. So, I've had benefits from carnivore for sure, but I haven't seen the weight loss that I really wanted to see from it. My period being shorter, that's still like a cause for concern. Like things aren't perfect right now. Things aren't great. I am not the optimal human specimen that I thought I was going to be after I didn't even think I'd hit 4 months on carnivore. So I am not where I want to be. And I don't know if carnivore is the diet for me for forever. I want to try some things though. I want to start experimenting and trying some other ways because I would like to start incorporating other foods other than meat products into my diet and seeing how my body responds to it. I never intended to stay on carnivore for the rest of my life I never intended to stay on carnivore for the rest of my life unless I saw that my life had changed so much and was so greatly improved and my appearance and health had taken a full 180. And my appearance and health have not taken a full 180, but there has definitely been healing going on. I'm concerned about the depression issue. I am very concerned about that. My husband is as well. He's noticed me being off the past 3 months. And so that's definitely a big cause for concern. And because I haven't seen all the benefits that I wanted to from carnivore, that's kind of leaning me towards let's move to maybe ketovore and start trying different different types of foods like, you know, maybe onion, maybe pepper, and like incorporating things one at a time to see what affects me and what doesn't. Hopefully, meat products are not the only things that I can eat that don't cause me inflammation and problems. Stay tuned, we'll just see. I got the most amount of subscribers and viewers because I was posting about carnivore. And so, if that's the only thing that you're interested in, I do want to let you know that moving forward, I don't know if this whole channel is going to be about me on a health and fitness journey while eating carnivore moving forward. I will keep you updated. It's probably going to be a mix of carnivore and ketovore, is really what it looks like to me realistically, but really, it's just an N of one experimentation. I'm going to keep you posted on the journey, whether I stay carnivore or ketovore or what ends up happening. I just want to be super transparent that I'm not sure moving forward if I'm going to continue to stay strictly on carnivore. If I change, I will absolutely keep you updated and let you know though. So that is my 120-day update for you guys. Please, if you haven't already, like the video if you've watched it to this point, and drop me down like a fried egg emoji if you've watched the video this far. Thank you so much for tuning in. And let me know how carnivore is going for you, or if you're thinking about starting carnivore. If you've been on carnivore and have experienced the type of things that I have, please comment down below and let me know. I want this to be a community where we are sharing what's working for us and what's not. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.